This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Loco sports fans, welcome to a Tuesday night, soggy Tuesday night edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown. Although we did get some games in tonight, finally.
Yes.
Wes Kerr and Justin Jarrett with you. Marcus Walsh is getting set up as we speak, so he'll be jumping in with us momentarily. But a good bit going around tonight, not a ton as we're whittling down the number of teams still competing for state championships here in the Loco, but we had a little bit of softball. Finally finished that 4-day test match with May River and Colleton County, and Marcus Walsh was over there, so he'll join us shortly to talk about that. Beaufort baseball with a big rally tonight. We will hear about that. They beat Hartsville to win the district title. And then some soccer Donnybrooks. Your Seahawks marching on, my Canes marching on in the playoffs. Seahawk girls, Canes boys, Hardyville boys marching on. So we'll talk about all that and more here tonight on the Loco Sports Lowdown, presented by Mickelson Law Firm, our official real estate closing attorney, presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Our original sponsor and our all-star sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, can help you with all your legal needs right in downtown Bluffton. Great folks who do so much for the community. They're our presenting sponsor, and I think we're almost ready to welcome in the Funky Bunch's better half. I think he's almost ready. There he is. Funky Bunch's better half, Marky Mark,
yes,
joins
indeed.
us. You're not really the better half. Funky Bunch is the better half.
Of course.
I'm just playing. We all know who the better
Well,
half is. But
depends on who you ask.
well, fair enough. Fair enough. But you're both pretty good halves of the
Yes.
coin over there. But how you doing,
Appreciate
buddy?
that.
You got
Doing
some
great.
Five Guys? Is that what you said you munched on?
I tell you
Five
what,
Guys, burgers and fries.
I know Five Guys is known for their burgers. I have to be honest, I have never,
Fries.
and I don't think I ever will get a burger at Five Guys.
Hot dogs?
because
You've
I
never
am
got a
all
burger at
in on the
Five
hot
Guys?
I'm
dogs.
told
The
the hot
dogs-
dogs are
Really?
phenomenal. Yeah. I am
Really?
told. Yes.
They are so good.
Wow. The burgers are the best part of Five Guys, in my opinion. I mean, I've never
The
had a hot dog.
peanuts.
I've never had
I
a
mean,
hot
the
dog there, but the
peanuts.
fries are really good too. Especially the Cajun fries are always
Well,
good.
the great thing about the fries is you order a small and you get
Well, they give you, like, a huge-
seven
like an extra
orders
large.
of fries, 7 orders of fries in your bag.
Yeah, right.
It is, yeah. Yeah,
Which
And I love
can
the
attest to,
peanuts.
'cause
I'm
that's
not gonna lie, I
exactly
love
what I
yes,
the
did.
peanuts.
peanuts are clutch too. But yeah,
Johnny is
there's
the
a
best
Five
of all,
Guys
right?
like a couple blocks down from where I live, so it's
Yeah. Oh yeah, right there. by
right
the
there,
St. Martin's Circle.
Palmetto Bay Road.
Yeah.
Palmetto Bay
Right,
Shop.
and there's one
Yeah.
just minutes away from us too, in
Yeah.
Bluffton, which is
Very
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. But
it's kinda
Marcus,
pricey.
you got to finally take in the
Yes.
conclusion of that May
Finally.
River Colleton game, and it was all Sharks. So Colleton put together a rally late. It wasn't enough. 7-4.
7-4
The
final,
Sharks
yeah.
get the job done.
I tell you what, they looked really, really sharp. We talked about it on Friday when the game started. They had the momentum certainly their
Right.
way as they got that one run in the first inning. Excuse me, they got the one run in the first inning after
They got
giving up
lit
the
out.
two.
Yeah.
I tell you what, just both pitchers really gave it their all. Both went the entire game. Bree had to battle for Colleton County, obviously, because the runs were starting to come in bunches for May River. But Nagel, holy
Yeah,
smokes!
well, it started
She
that pop out of
was-
Eversole in the resumption. You know how big that
Right.
was. And she's able to get that quick out on the pop up for out number 3. And then, as you said, the momentum all with the Sharks.
Yeah,
And that-
she was just outstanding. Got to shout out a couple of huge names offensively for May River. Landry had a big game at the plate in the resumption. Propelt was outstanding as well with a couple of big hits, driving in multiple runs. And that's a thing. Bringing multiple people to the plate at once was definitely huge. And then there was one more
Allie Belcher,
that
right?
I listed, and it was Belcher. Yeah, Belcher had
Sure.
the first 2 big hits coming into the action here tonight, and she had 3 huge RBIs out of the 7 total runs. Just a really good situational hitter
Mhm.
without question. And just a great showing for May River, especially in that 7th inning too, because I think you started to see a little bit of Nagel starting to lose it a little bit, just getting a little tired. And, sometimes when you're up 7-2 and that situation comes, you can take your eye off the ball defensively for just a second. And
Yep.
May River did that a little bit. Colleton County with a couple of runs coming back into the game, but May River ended up winning the game
What
on a
about
4-6 double play,
ooh,
line out to second, throwback to second, catching
Oh,
a runner, leaving second base, heading for third, couldn't get back in time.
it got pretty
no.
interesting there at the end.
It
Carlton
did.
was
I think there were a couple of interference calls in the course of the action tonight. One definitely catcher's interference, and then there was something that happened in the seventh inning. I took my eye off it for just a second. I might have been interference within the base path, and that really got things started a little bit for Colleton County, for them to get a couple of runs in totality in that seventh inning, but it just wasn't enough for them. Give both teams a lot of credit. Obviously we talked to Coach Hess about what you do in between games and the strategizing through all of it, and a lot of people forget. We take a look at all of these teams, that type of thing. Both teams, no matter what side you're on, both teams have to go through it.
Right.
So obviously both teams to be able to come back today. And I have to say, we talked about how the field conditions were going to be and whatnot. And Coach Hess talked about that last night too, with how hard her team was working on getting that field
Yeah.
ready. And for as much rain as we had, it looked daggone near perfect. There were a
Yeah.
couple of spots that were heavily, sanded down or dirted down with all the stuff that they put down there. But it looked really good, and there were a couple of really good plays in the outfield too from both teams. It was just a really well played game, and there was a lot more of the chatter obviously going on between both teams. At the plate, in the field, etc. It was just a great environment, and again, throughout the course of the 2 days that I was there, might be the first softball games that I've ever seen. I think I saw a little bit of softball way back uh, when I was in high school, but it was just a really cool
Yeah.
environment. Kind of reminded me in the sight of all the cheering and all kind of the chatter, the
Mhm.
purity of the game. And when I
Yeah.
think of the purity of the game, I think of Little
Yeah.
League, of course,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I think of all those leagues growing up before you get to high school, especially on the baseball side
American
of it.
Legion. Yeah. Well,
Kind
that's
of
in high school, but yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
brought back a lot
Yeah.
of that nostalgia
Excellent.
from when
Oh
I was a
yeah.
kid. So it was
That's one
just
of
a
the
really
things I
cool
love about
experience.
softball is it
Yeah.
is just the
It was.
girls they're just a little more lighthearted about it
Yeah.
than the guys are. The guys take it very seriously. The girls do too, but they're a little more lighthearted about it. They
Yeah.
they support each other in different ways, and it's always fun. So
They're not afraid to
Chris
voice their opinions either.
Chris
So
Holmes
That's
is predicting
so
that oh no, they troll each other too. Like they are relentless, just
yeah,
roast
they
each other.
do. The chants
But
can
Chris
get pretty
Holmes
crazy.
predicting that we'll have a rematch, that Colleton will get to come
So
back to
so
May River.
now what happens next? Because obviously Carlton goes to the airport, but they are way behind
Right, so
on
they
the
just
bracket.
have to play that tomorrow, and
Right.
then the winner has to come to May River on
Or
Thursday rather,
Thursday, yeah.
and it'll have to be the if games right after if they have to.
Yeah.
So my understanding of it, so initially they were told today that because they were so far behind, that whoever lost that game tonight was going to have to stay on the field and play airport,
Yeah,
which
that's
of
that's
course
that's
people said, whoa, hold on, that's a totally unfair advantage to the team that loses a winners bracket game and now has
right.
to turn around and play back to back
right.
against the team in the losers bracket.
But it
And
makes
so
sense
cooler
because
heads
the
prevailed
schedule.
there, but
Yeah.
they did say that if they had gotten rained out tonight and not been able to play it, that tomorrow the losing team would have had to play back to back. So and basically they said that airport game had to be played tomorrow.
Right.
And so Colleton County will be at home tomorrow against Airport. Winner comes back to May River on Thursday,
Well, yeah,
presumably.
I'm glad for Carlton because they'll be able to get a home game,
Yeah,
and that's that's the reward you get for staying in the winners bracket for that long. You get to play
right.
that home game compared
Yep.
to if they had to play it after this one. So you have
Right.
to make the best of the scheduling, and I understand you don't have a lot of time to make up these games because you have to get right to the next round. Other teams are
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
But at the same
Same
time,
deal with our 1A baseball
yeah,
bracket where we
right,
were supposed to play on Saturday and didn't get it in until today.
yep.
Our boys fought hard for 4 innings and then the wheels came off in the monsoon. But Carver's Bay advances to face Low Country leadership in the 1A baseball bracket. But Wes, your Seahawks.
Yeah,
Well, actually, while we're on the subject of baseball and softball, Atlantic Collegiate 18-1 over Bridges Prep softball, so they're done. And then the big one, Buford
oh,
over Hartsville, 8
Wow.
to
what
7.
a game!
What a ball game. Jimmy
Wow,
Searson
Sellers
had a
Lynn with a
great ticket.
3-run blast
And then
to get in the
Gunnar
lead.
Hollingsworth with the clutch pitching on the mound comes in relief, gets 2 strikeouts with the bases loaded and a 1-run lead.
Huge.
Wow.
Ice cold right there. Just unbelievable job to close it out, and they are your District D champions in what was an absolute thriller. I mean, how many crazy games have we seen? Seems like every time in the playoffs when Buford plays these kinds of games, they are absolutely wild. Like they go extra innings or like some crazy
Well,
comeback happens,
they
you know,
had those
walk-off
crazy
homer.
ones with Hanahan a couple
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, they've had some insane games in the
Absolutely
playoffs.
wow, but credit to this Buford Eagles team. I mean, resilient group a number of years in the past, and they've rekindled that year. I thought they were cooked in this game. They were down 6-2.
Or
The last
7-2, I think even
7-2.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Lynn had the 3-run homer to put them up 8-7 to complete that rally, and that just and crazy comeback from this Buford team. And like I said, all these guys, we've seen it before. They buy in, they're able to draw some walks. 3 straight walks, Altman, Mullen, and Rast all walked to set the Hollingsworth double, which led to the Lynn homer. So, I mean, just terrific at bats, one after the other. And that's how you come back. That's how you rally. Make the pitcher work for it. And they did just that to come from behind and get this job done. But you needed to hold on in the end, and just unbelievable. Coming in relief out of the bullpen, Gunnar Hollingsworth, 2 straight strikeouts to end it with the bases loaded. That takes some guts right there. Wow.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
He's a
For sure.
dude. We've talked about him all year. So here's the deal for Buford. They will
So
take
I
on South
checked the
Florence
bracket. They're supposed to
because
play tomorrow. Is that still the case, or will they
I
delay
don't
it?
know the answer to that, but I do know that they will face South Florence because
Okay.
South Florence knocked out Bishop England.
Ooh.
Beat them
Wow.
8-5 and 3-0. So it'll be South Florence and Buford. I do not know the answer to when um, they will
The
play
series will
that.
begin. Yeah.
It's supposed to start tomorrow, you said?
The date was tomorrow. Was
Yeah,
game one supposed to be
14,
tomorrow?
14,
Yeah.
16, 17. So we'll have to get to the bottom of that and find out if they are in fact starting those tomorrow or if they're pushing those a day. Um, would so South Florence has been done since Saturday.
Yeah,
So
they've had a lot of rest.
that really
I
works in their
honestly give
favor.
the advantage to Buford, although pitching is always I guess
Yeah, so
there are
that's
different
what
sides
I'm
of it because I
thinking.
think obviously the pitching, South Florence is all, stocked up with their
Right,
staff, but on the other hand, they're kind of playing coming in cold, and Buford's coming
right,
in with momentum, with the confidence, and so it can kind of go both ways in that
Yeah.
regard. But Buford still had to play just one game in like a couple days, so their pitching is still pretty solid. So I'd give the slight edge
right.
the Eagles coming into this series, although they do have to go on the road for game one and a potential game three as
Yeah,
well.
so it's 6 seed versus 7 seed, interestingly,
Yep.
um, coming out of there. So, and then it'll be in the other half of the lower state. I guess either North Augusta or Gilbert. I'll have to see who
Okay.
came
Jimmy
out of
Searson, if
there.
you have any
And
updates,
Airport.
yep. If you have any updates on the dates,
Yeah.
let us know because he is our Buford insider.
Oh yeah. Sound like he was at that one tonight.
Yeah. Oh man, he's
Yeah, I think he was.
yeah. I
Thanks
may
for
have to get him on if we can, if he's willing to do it because I want to hear more about that game. What a crazy one that would be to take in live. So I'd
All right.
love to hear more from him or from our baseball friends. If we can get him on tonight, we can. I'll text Jimmy Searson. Do we do this on the fly, folks? We are
Yeah, we
playing
do.
on the fly.
We're doing it live.
Especially with as much as going on right now.
Yep.
I mean, taking a look at everything that we have going on with spring sports, trying to get them all wind down, as we were talking about within the next 2 to 3 weeks, with figuring out when the end of the year is.
Yeah.
It's fast and furious.
It is indeed.
Yeah, it is. Well, hey, let me shout out a few sponsors real quick. We got our tried and true Loco Booster Club member, Hudson Seafood House on the Docks. Great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. And presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode aired last night. We got a good one. So look forward to. You should go check that out. Under the Bus was a good one. And Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, always a great decision for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. Hilton Head Furniture, the Satola family, bringing great handcrafted furniture down from Hickory, North Carolina to sell to you and keep in your home for a long time right here in the Low Country. Quality furniture at Hilton Head Furniture. And HHI Windows and Doors wants to improve your view of the Low Country. Coach Barron, our friend from Hilton Head Prep, state championship basketball coach, rode off into the sunset. And now he wants to make sure that sun's pouring through your windows and doors. HHI Windows and Doors, Coach Barron, Loco Booster Club members. I have fun with that one. I like that, Reed.
Yeah, it's
Pouring
great.
sunshine through the door.
I was trying to think of a way to say, like, he had MVP players. Now he's looking at MVP glass. He had players on the glass. Now he's trying to bring the glass to your home.
There you go. Yeah, he loves when his teams hit the glass.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, we're having fun here, having a good time. But
Coach
let's talk
Barron,
a little
one
soccer.
of a kind guy too.
Yeah, he is. He's intense. Soccer. Bishop England takes out May River tonight on the girls' side, 5-3. Great game. May River was down 3-1, rallied to force overtime, and then they gave up one in the first overtime and then another in the second overtime. So slipped away from them, but a terrific effort from a
great
young
rally
team
there.
that had a good run this year.
Yeah.
And then Hilton Head, though, carrying the flag for
Yucks.
Region 6 4A. They knock off North. Well, I guess Bishop England's in there too. They knock off North Augusta 4-0.
Carrying the Lowco. Carrying the Lowco.
Yeah, exactly. But were you there tonight, Wes?
I was
You were
there, yes.
correct?
I
Yes.
just
In
sent you
fact, we
some
have
video
videos.
before we came on the air. Piper Baxter with a hat trick scored the second, third, and fourth goals, including one on a penalty kick, to help knock off North Augusta in the shutout 4-0 clean sheet win. And absolutely complete effort by the Seahawks. And from top to bottom, they were the better team. They controlled the vast majority of the possession. They were putting shots on net from the outset. And once again, Richard, number 7, she was a beast. Man, her speed, just getting to those loose balls and her footwork, unbelievable.
Nice
So
cross,
fun to
yeah.
watch her play. What an addition she has been to this team, or just her improvement as this year's gone along. I mean, basketball player, we saw what she could do in the court, but she is lining it up right now on the pitch and brought so much energy to this team. The midfield was outstanding. The back line did their job well. And Hilton Head's goalkeeping didn't have to do too much, but a huge save early in that game when North Augusta was trying to put some pressure on. And sometimes that's what you need, that one big save to keep that momentum from going in the other direction. And the Seahawks got it from their starting goalie, Michaela Rockwood, getting the start in goal tonight, and she was terrific. Fantastic to see her get the clean sheet, and outstanding effort across the board, led by the junior Piper Baxter with the hat trick. And these deep in the playoffs, it is not easy to score 3 in one game. So outstanding effort from her and this entire squad. I'm very impressed by the way the Seahawks team has been playing. They've been sliding under the radar a bit, heading into the playoffs. Didn't talk much about them because they were lower in the region, but they were competitive against the best teams in that region. And now they get their shot. They get their shot on the road Friday night at Bishop England for the right to represent the Lower States in the state championship. They lost 3-2 at home back on March the 14th and lost 1-0 at Bishop England. So 2 1-goal games in the regular season meeting between these two teams.
Yeah. Now they get a chance for revenge on Daniel Allen. All
Yeah.
right, good stuff. So Seahawks still in there on the girls' side. Canes still in it on the boys' side. Class 1A lower state semis tonight. St. John's beat Royal Live Oaks 3-2 in overtime. But
Ooh,
Hardyville beats Ridgeland 4-1.
nice.
A hat trick for Jason Villatoro.
Woo.
And here's Jason. I missed Jason's first goal, but here I was still coaching baseball at that point. But nice football by Roberto to Saul. Saul with the nice cross, and
Yeah, great
Jason runs
touch.
onto it,
Nice.
buries it. I made it
Love that.
2-0, and Jason with a great goal there. And then he was able to get a penalty as well to finish the hat trick. Oh yeah.
So
Go
not
to
only
Jim.
do you advance, but you get those town bragging rights as well.
That's
You
right.
you
Well,
knocked
yeah,
off
we
in the
went
playoffs.
3-0 against Ridgeland this year, and we're 1-0-1 against. Actually, I guess we were 1-1. We
I
won
only
one in
saw this
overtime.
team once
There
this
we
year.
go.
It was at
Jason.
Bluffton, and they held their own. It was, I mean, this is we've seen how good this Bluff team is. They're still playing. They'll be in action tomorrow, but
Yep.
they fought hard in that game, and I knew that once they got to 1A, once they get to that region in the playoffs, they were going to be a tough out, and now they're one win away from reaching the state title match, and I'm incredibly proud of that coaching staff and that squad over there. I would love to see them, but the times I don't think will work out for me in those last opportunities. If they get to the state championship, it's a Thursday afternoon,
Yeah, it's a
which
Thursday, and Friday will be at St. John's now. Unfortunately, I was hoping that.
yeah.
I mean, the boys wanted to play St. John's. They didn't want to play Royal a third time after playing
Yep.
Ridgeland a third time.
So
That was a
St.
lot.
John's
Those
is
are your
are they the
biggest
top seed?
rivalries, but
Are they the
St.
one seed?
John's is the 1 seed. We're the 2
Yep.
seed. So,
Right. One versus
but
two.
we feel like we got a real shot to play our way
Yeah.
to state championship. So
Very nice.
came out of it healthy tonight.
That's
Everybody looked good. So Los Canes back to the Final Four. Yeah, been a few years. We haven't had a varsity program since 2012. So it's been
yeah.
a good little
First
while.
year back in the Final Four. I mean,
Yeah, man,
that's
pretty awesome.
awesome. Very very
And our
impressive.
friend Joey Lamar was out tonight from WSAV, so we'll be
Awesome.
featured on the news tonight. But here was the celebration after El Presidente Rayleigh got the ice bucket. That turned sideways to see it, but it's
Yeah.
still
Very
fun.
nice.
Yeah, boys are hyped up for Los Canes, and
As
then we
they
got Nick
should be.
Song. Here we go.
Nick's on. We're going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Nick's on. Who's next?
St. John.
It's been a thing for a while now. Every game we ask,
Nice.
after every game we ask, Nick Song, who's next? And he says, Rayo, Ridgeland, St. John's.
I love it. I
So,
mean, it's
man,
something. I mean, you love that kind of camaraderie and energy within your
I
squad.
love
It's
those boys.
special,
I love those boys,
special
man.
stuff. I hope we can document two more games and maybe 2 more wins from that group.
Right.
I hope so, man. They've worked really hard this year. They really went through the gauntlet with that regular season schedule
Early
that
season schedule. They
Coach
play some
Rayleigh put together for
4A
them.
teams.
I mean, playing May River twice, playing Bluffton twice, playing Beaufort
Yep.
twice. Like
That only
it
helps you
was
though.
a
That gets you ready.
absolutely. And
Mm.
they looked really good tonight. We finally did break through and score a bunch. It was 1-0 for a long time, and we had a lot of chances we couldn't convert. And Ridgeland played really tough defense. But we were able to finally pop that one from Jason, and then got the penalty, and then it was just like the floodgates open. So big win tonight, big win. Guys are relaxed and relieved. I'm sure no more gauntlet.
Get to be the heroes when they come back into school and everyone gets
Oh.
to root them on and congratulate them, and that's always the best. Going back to school after you win a big game,
Yeah.
the energy that you
Oh,
see,
yeah.
and yeah,
Tomorrow's
everyone
gonna be
hyped.
great. 2025 schedule's like Kentucky basketball, one and done. not, not gonna play 2 against everybody and their brother. That's too much. But on to the next one. for the Canes. And so they and Hilton Head both survive in soccer tonight. Hilton Head girls and Buford
Great season for the May
baseball
River girls.
and May River softball still
Heartbreaker.
fighting on.
Oh yeah, softball as well, and that's awesome to see. But terrific run from those May River Sharks, and way to battle in that tough match against Bishop England. You just wish they could have found a way to get to set up a lower state championship featuring 2 local teams. But we still have an opportunity for that on the boys' side because we have Bluffton and May River in action mañana.
Mañana. Te quiero mañana. I was just thinking that yesterday. Mañana,
Okay,
te
so
quiero
the Spanish
mañana.
version.
Solo un día más. That's the way I do it.
Never heard the Spanish version before.
Only one more day. I made it up. I mean, I don't know if I made it up. I'm sure it exists, but I just started singing
there
tomorrow
were Spanish
in
versions
Spanish
of Annie performed.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've never heard them, but I started singing it in Spanish yesterday. Mi español está mejorando. You know, estamos ganando la guerra.
See, that's what happens when you're around. I mean, it's cool.
You can't help it.
Yeah. Hey, I took
pretty
a
cool.
bunch of years of Spanish, and
me too. And I lost it all for like 30 years, and now I'm starting to find it a little bit at a time.
Right.
And it's just nice to have somebody to even go, how do you say this word? Because you can say most of a sentence, but you stumble over a word, but you can learn how to say that word right now, and then you can say the sentence, and they applaud you and cheer you on, and
that's awesome.
They're like, yeah, you got it.
People teaching people.
I learned about tarjeta amarilla and tarjeta roja tonight.
Yes.
You know, red cards and yellow cards. I was calling for them. But no, I love these boys. They're fun to watch. And I just love high school sports, man. It's
great, isn't it?
I tell you, being in the school and seeing,
especially a small school,
the life force that it is for your school, and how important it is to your culture, and how much it means to your kids, and how much the athletes really are the leaders in your school, and how much, you know, it drives it all home why I do what I do, and why I've done what I've done for so long, and why I didn't go chase college and pro beats, because I really loved what I did here, you know.
There's something special
I love it.
about high school sports that you just don't get at other
it's just so real and raw and genuine and beautiful.
There's
just
nothing
beautiful.
like it.
Right.
It really
passion.
is.
I mean, it's not, you're not chasing the money, you're not chasing you know, trying to chase to play in the league. This is pure grassroots sports, and many of them do. A couple of them do look to continue, but most of them, this is, you know, a lot of them.
But even those ones are still just out there having fun with their friends right now, and that's a beautiful thing.
And that's true. That's true. Even the ones that are going on, like it's senior year, especially, like once you have your plans locked down, you're trying to create a legacy at your school. You're trying to win one with your buddies. There's so much more that goes into it than just, obviously you want to get as many kids as possible to the next level, but the feelings of achievement with your team, with your guys, winning with your school, for your hometown, it means a ton. And that you can't replicate that at college or professional level. I mean, sometimes
it's just a kid making a play that they never thought they'd be able to make.
Right.
You know, I mean, something as simple as that, or a kid getting a hit that never thought they'd get a hit, or making a basket, or the stakes are just different.
You know, the special needs kids and all those stories that we from Chip way back when.
Oh God, Chip.
You know, so many
legendary wrestler, absolutely legendary, and he had some nice touchdown runs back in the day too.
He did indeed.
Chip was a legend, Chip Mullen. His wrestling matches were epic, though. Epic. He would come out, hype the crowd up. They'd all start getting crazy. And they always picked the best opponents for him, who would just put on a show with him. Man, it was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, it was. It's the best. That's
good stuff.
Really the best.
So that's it for tonight. We've kind of plowed through what went down tonight, made sense of it, and we can kind of turn the page to what's going down tomorrow, which we will finally get to the start of the Skiza State Championship baseball series.
I'm not sure
we've been waiting on forever.
I'm not sure when because I saw they're supposed to start today, and I was like, I looked at earlier this morning. It was like, oh well.
No, when we talked to Coach Scarborough last night, he told us that they had moved it to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, sometimes my mind gets all weird in the evening.
It's a lot going on.
But
it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
so
mean,
they'll
finally,
get started
finally,
tomorrow night. Hilton Head Christian at Ben Lippen, Orangeburg Prep at Hilton Head Prep, 4 p.m. for that one. And then they'll flip sites Thursday and Friday for the IF games. So no harm, no
so I'll
foul.
be there
Push it
at
back a couple days.
the Sea Pines tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock. I'm assuming the start, which should be
Yeah,
a nice warm and sunny afternoon. Should be a great day to take in some baseball, and I'm expecting a challenge for Hilton Head Prep. Orangeburg Prep is coming in
for
and
sure.
has had a terrific year, and so Hilton Head Prep's
They
going to
got
have
some
to.
arms.
Yep. Yeah, if they go with standard, if they go a different direction in terms of who they start in the bump, he's going to have to deliver for them. And because like Chris Wells' mojo or the mantra, pitching to contact and trying
Yep.
to get through it
Pitching,
quickly. And
defense, and small ball.
yep, mhm,
I figure it's either Perky or Stanyard, right?
yeah,
Those are the two guys, and I think they're 1A, 1B. Probably Stanyard,
yeah.
I
It's
think,
it's.
throws a little
I mean,
harder,
it's
but
hard to make
Perky's
that
very
call, but I think
effective.
you have trust in either of them
And
to set.
Stanyard's their best catcher too, so maybe you go Perky game one. So you got him behind the plate. I don't know. 6 of one, half does the other. You got to win two.
Right.
So
Well, you want to win
should be a
game
great
one. And
series.
game one's important. You don't want to go, especially at home. You want to hold serve at
Yeah,
home. Important.
yeah, you definitely
Yep.
do. You don't want to have to be in a must win on the road in game two.
Right.
I don't think.
Yep.
No.
And then so softball, we're out of the 3A, we're out of the 2A, we're out of the 1A. We don't
Still
got to
got
worry about none of
Colleton and
those.
May River battling it
Just
out.
got
May
4A
River with the
softball.
advantage. They will be in the driver's seats after the win
Yep, they'll
today.
be
And
waiting
yes, the waiting game. They'll play Thursday. And it's
again.
got to feel good. Got to feel good for the Sharks after waiting that long. Now you know that you're in this position you want to be. And now for Colleton, it's all of a sudden it's win or go home after
Right.
leading. Like they were up.
Yeah, I expect them to fight back and take
Yeah.
this one from Airport, and then I think it's going to be a dogfight again when
Yep.
if they get back to the Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put it past them to force it to 2 games. Oh, you got a milkshake too.
Ooh. I've never had a milkshake.
Exactly.
I'll have to get one. I'm
Living
a
right.
big. I love cookout milkshakes. So
Oh, me too.
yeah,
I love Cookout, period.
cookout's
I'm a
great.
big
Yep,
Cookout fan.
indeed.
But we also have those boys soccer games tomorrow, as you mentioned. West Bluffton at Bishop England, May River at Gray Collegiate. Both tough matchups.
Yeah,
I had to handicap them. I'd give May River a little better
I
shot
would as
at winning
well.
on the road than Bluffton, but I think Bluffton's probably got a game plan to try to keep that a 0-0 game for as long as
yeah,
possible and see if they
Yeah.
can't catch a counter or even get it into penalties and just
yeah,
steal
and
one.
this team knows how that they can score on that counter or on that break
Hmm.
if they get one in this match. It's the margins are so thin this
They
time of
got
year,
Roberto
especially.
up top, right?
Yeah,
Phew, he's
yeah,
quick.
he can fly it, and I was impressed by the way they maintained their aggressiveness and attack against the team that certainly was making them work for it, but they're able to get it done. And now they come in as the underdog, where the pressure's kind of on them that second game. Now Bishop England's a favorite, and if you devise that strong game plan, which that Coach Fox, is going to get them going in the right direction. He's a terrific coach. I spent some time at JP2, now back here at Bluffton, and I know for sure he's going to get these guys bought in, and they're going to be riled up on the road at in Charleston as they look to make this Cinderella run even deeper. And this Maver team, you can't count them out. The way they rallied, that built some character in that team. Reminds me of that 2019 squad when Joel Fleek scored 2 in the last couple of minutes. 2 different scores this time, but this Maver team is going to be a tough out. I like the way they play. Uh, I feel like a lot of relief from that goalkeeper after he let in that bad one. You can't you don't want to do that this time of year. So he made a couple of big saves later. So got that out of the system, and now I feel like he'll be energized and ready to make to make a big impact and potentially make some big saves. And
Yep.
if you can get 1 or 2 from your keeper in some big moments, you never know. And Mira didn't limit too much else after that. Their back line played pretty well down the stretch, and then the offense found one after being in attack mode that those last really entirety of the second half, and we saw it build up, and it was great to see them finally convert twice in those last few minutes. And I like the way that Misa has his guys playing, and they're going to embrace the opportunity that they're going to get here. And Great Collegian is beatable. Great Collegian is a very solid squad, but we've seen how this region can play this time of year, and May River's gonna put up a fight in this game and look to get done. Have they played before this? I don't think they have played this year. No, they have not.
I don't believe so. No,
they have not. Just taking a look at Great Collegian, they've only lost 3 times this year. Their only losses were to 1 though. They lost to North Augusta, who May River beat. So,
right.
that was a 1-1, I guess, penalties in that one. So,
Right. So
Yep.
it seems
Yeah.
like a fairly even matchup. It,
Yeah.
it should be a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But all right, here we go. Yeah, we saw that this was rescheduled from yesterday. Boys golf for a lower state tomorrow at Darlington
Yep.
Country Club. So best of luck to Seahawks, Bobcats, Sharks at the lower state meet. I did have a couple other newsy notes. Thomas Hayward, we told you they have a new football coach with Daniel Bryan being named, and we mentioned that the new JV football coach was Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas is also the AD now. So congratulations to Logan Thomas. We remember him well. He was 4-year starting quarterback at Thomas Hayward, graduated in 2018, part of some great teams there. He continued his football career at Wofford. He was part of a Southern Conference championship team there, and has been back at school for a little while. I know he had a little side business stuff going on as well. Does some video stuff, does all kinds of stuff. So really interesting guy, and he's been coaching back at the school, led the golf team the last couple of years, coaching middle school basketball and youth football. And it sounds like he's got a bunch of kids excited about the JV program, which of course is the quickest way to put your varsity program back on solid footing long term. It sounds like they're kind of scrambling to retain some people and keep the numbers up where they need them to be right now. But, getting all this leadership in place and leaning on, as we mentioned last night, the alumni base, calling some folks home to try to pump some energy into the program again. And look, this is a team coming off a state championship. We're not in a rebuilding situation here. I think it's just trying to get people in place to try to maintain, and keep it where it is, because the margins are narrow in Schizo 1A football between state championship and not having the numbers to field a team. It's only about 10 guys in between there. So they got some work to do, but I think definitely they've made some good decisions here as far as leaning on folks who have a history in the program, who understand
And that's important.
they understand that there's pride, and they're going to lean on the folks they know to step up and help them get this thing where they want it to be. So
this situation reminds me a lot of, you think of like colleges, especially in football, that have to go through kind of what they call the retool, never really a rebuild for a long time. You think of Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide for one. You think of Florida State back in the day.
Yep.
Clemson, those types of programs. And I think that's what certainly Thomas Hayward and some of these other programs are going through right now. As well,
Whale Branch.
obviously,
we talked about it with Whale Branch too.
Yes, with the portal and things happening and players and coaches moving around. It's great to know that, especially with these programs that we cover a bunch, that it does take a retooling, not necessarily a rebuilding.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think that's right. I think it's just about trying to preserve that culture and maintain it. And so when you go to somebody, if you're trying to, Shuford led it for a long time. And then the first year post Shuford, it was a little rocky. And then they went back to Taylor Malfris, who had been there with Shuford, and it kind of just went right back to kind of the culture that it was before. And so I think they're trying to find somebody who can bridge that gap and keep it the way it is. And I think Logan, having been the starting quarterback for 4 years under Nick Shuford, having absorbed that program from the inside out, he definitely knows what it was about when he played, and Daniel Bryan knows what it was about when he played in the earlier, a decade, almost 2 decades earlier than that. So they're bringing in a couple of generations of guys who came through the program and went on to play at the next level and can come and sell that vision to the kids coming through there now. So, I think the demise the demise of Thomas Hayward was greatly exaggerated, to
Yes.
paraphrase Mark Twain. Um, this
No, I
happens.
mean it's 1A's. They're going to be competitive or 1A or 2.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
And
there may be kids that transfer out of there, but there'll be kids that transfer in there too.
Yeah.
it's a
It goes
tradition
both
of
ways.
excellence over there on the football field, and tradition of
Hmm.
championships. And there's going to be some kids who step up and follow in the footsteps,
Hmm.
especially when you have guys like the guy they're bringing in to set the tone, set the example. Somebody who's been a part of those successes at Thomas
Yeah.
Hayward, and that's you need the stability of someone who knows how to do it, who has done it before around this same area, and buys in that same mentality to these younger kids, and you keep that tradition going. So I love the hire, love the decision, and I'm feeling we're going to be talking about Thomas Hayward football into November this year. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna find a way to get going.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree.
Yep.
I mean, obviously it's a different situation if Tony's
Yeah.
not there than if
True.
Tony
Yeah.
is, but I still
Yeah.
think they have a chance to
Yeah.
be
Can't replace a
very
guy like Tony
competitive.
Abbott.
No, you don't. And it just changes what you do. I mean,
Yep.
that's the thing. It changes who you are. Doesn't mean you
But
can't be successful, just that it changes who you are and how you
You're
go about
different.
it. Exactly. And then another note that hit home for me. Wilbert Bryant hanging it up. Longtime coach at Battery Creek and Whale Branch. Whale Branch, of course, honoring him for his retirement. So talks a lot about his time there. But I first knew him when he was at Battery Creek coaching girls basketball over there. And then when Whale Branch opened, he went over there and was the varsity girls basketball coach to start. Did that for 4 seasons, had some great success, put it on strong footing. And then he went to the bench for the boys basketball team for a number of years. And no matter who was on the bench, he was kind of the right hand man through Jim Raymond's tenure, as well as short lived tenure for my guy Antoine Wade, and then into Coach Faber's tenure. So also been an assistant athletic director, and just he's also a DJ, wedding DJ.
Oh,
Just a super guy, super guy. Always a smile on his face, unless he was fussing at his players about something, and just a great guy. So wishing him a well-deserved and well-earned retirement from the public service. And you don't really retire when you're that kind of guy. He'll be around. He'll be
oh yeah.
around helping kids some way or another. You can bet on that.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I had a chance, to call a couple of games, Whale Branch on the basketball court and on the football field. I figure, do more of that as the years go on. Didn't know Coach Bryant well, but knew his legacy and knew him well enough to know just the kind of guy that he is. And congrats, Coach, on everything, and have a great retirement. And we'll see you around here in the Loco here soon enough for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And then one other newsy note. Remember Ian Shark, Colleton
Yes.
County offensive lineman, went to SC State.
Yep.
He got in that portal as a grad transfer, and he is now an Alabama State Hornet. And look at this
Oh,
man. Look at that man.
That is a
Woo.
big man.
Yeah, that is a large human being. Ian Shark. We had him on the show way back when he committed to South Carolina State, and wishing him well at Alabama State this year. So that's my big newsy notes. That's about all I got. So I'll read these sponsors and we'll do our parting thoughts and we'll get on out of here. Base Hit Life is our baseball and softball themed apparel sponsor. They got great t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more with cool baseball and softball themed styles. So if you want to live your best base hit life and stand out on the diamond this year, get to basehitlife.com. Dr. Ambrose Coles, our official chiropractor. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton. He'll crack you up, get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, getting your floors so clean your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Great spot to hang out. Might see Tony O'Banner there. Get scoop on where he might be playing next year.
Yeah.
That's the you
Yeah.
never do know. Get it from the horse's mouth. All right. Parting thoughts.
Good Marcus Walsh.
Well, it is officially over. The Cleveland Cavaliers got beat tonight. I was watching a little bit of it as I was heading home from Five Guys, and they were down 7, I think it was, with about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter when I shut it off to get on with you guys. Not sure of a final, but Indiana wins, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, with injuries aplenty during that series, and they just seemed a little bit watching a little bit from afar and reacting from afar. Just seemed like a tired ball club after a very successful regular season. And I'm not sure what that's going to mean going forward for them. They're taking all the right steps. They're getting closer, especially with what they're doing, like I said, in the regular season. But they have to take those next steps.
Some of these young guys
the
need to get
playoffs.
playoff experience. Sometimes it takes a while. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do come free agency and the off season. But their off season officially starts now because their season's over. Saw some really tough news out of Boston with Tatum and the Achilles injury. I actually was not thinking Achilles. I was thinking ankle, because when I saw the replay of him, heading through the locker room and whatnot, he's grabbing just above his ankle. It wasn't Achilles.
Yeah, I was talking with our good friend, my good friend Jeff Riley. He was texting me about the Celtics, and I told me that the rumor was Achilles. That there were several, I guess, people on social media or elsewhere saying that's what it looked like, and unfortunately, that was the case. So you feel for him, you feel for that Celtics team.
That's terrible.
It makes it even more of a mountain to climb, down 3-1 in that series. So the Knicks, they're one win away, and the Celtics are really gonna have to dig deep now if they want to keep the dream alive for back-to-back.
Looking like Knicks Pacers in a 1990s Eastern Conference Final.
Knicks Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I mean,
I was thinking Kevin Libby and I would be going to street meet to watch the Cavs and Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's got to be since like Reggie Miller was giving Spike Lee a stroke, right? Like,
where's Marv Albert when you need him right now?
Oh,
I mean, this is like a classic 1990s.
Meanwhile, the Timberwolves are a game away from eliminating Golden State.
Yeah,
I'm on the 12s. I picked the 12s at the outset of the playoffs. I picked the 12s to win it all. I don't know why. I don't know nothing. I didn't watch hardly any NBA this year. I was like Ant-Man, and I think Rudy Gobert is fun to watch, man. The way he defends the rim, I just think he's an equalizing factor.
Oklahoma City's not going anywhere.
They're not.
They're dangerous.
Yeah, them and the Nuggets. Whoever comes out of that Western Conference Final is going to be a battle.
Yeah, it'll be a bloodbath.
I think whoever wins the West wins.
Oh man, the Tigers just walked off the Red Sox. I just missed it. I was looking up something, and
rough day for.
It had to be a home run. Yeah,
Boston.
Javi Baez, Chicago Cub, with a 3-run dinger.
The reason my kid wears 9. Javi
after
Baez.
Christian Campbell went deep, I thought the Red Sox had after Campbell with a 2-run homer, and then Baez one up some.
I still love Javi. I still have my Players Weekend jersey with El Mago on the back.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess that's even more reason for me to be glad that the Guardians have won the last 2 games and they won 2-0 tonight.
Yeah.
There you go.
Detroit keeps on winning. They're impressing me.
Cubbies are down 4-2 in the 9th to the Marlins, which is pitiful. But there was some other baseball news. I'm guessing Wes might have it for his parting thoughts.
Yeah, some very controversial news in Major League Baseball today, which I'm sure you have heard about if you're following the news today. But Major League Baseball has announced that they have removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other players who have been deceased from the MLB permanently ineligible list.
Yep.
And so that raises the question of Hall of Fame status. They will all be eligible to be elected into Cooperstown. So just, I mean, certainly a lot of thoughts there, whether or not they should have done that and reinstated those players. Certainly some with very interesting and colorful histories, or histories that have been in murky, I guess that would be the best word for it.
Right.
But yeah, um,
Yeah. So, do we think they'll put him in the Hall? I don't think Pete's getting in the Hall. I don't think they're
I
going to
don't
put him
think
in.
so.
And here's the thing, Pete obviously went down for the gambling thing, but everybody knows that there was a lot more worse things that Pete did than gambling.
Yeah.
There were accusations of stuff with underage girls and stuff, and to me, that was the underlying reason
Yeah.
that it was never even a consideration to lift that ban while he was living. I don't know that I fully understand the purpose of lifting the ban after they die. That feels very petty and spiteful. Like, well, you might
Yeah.
be able to get in the Hall of Fame, but not until after you're dead. That feels like, if they weren't eligible for the Hall of Fame, why would they be eligible after death but not before?
Right.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Um,
I think it was fine to leave Pete out of the Hall of Fame. I think it was probably fine to leave Shoeless Joe out of the Hall of Fame. I think it's also fine to put them both in,
Right.
and make it very clear on their plaque what their situation was.
yeah.
Um, I,
They're going to do it. They were thinking about doing it for Rafael Palmeiro and Mark
well,
McGuire and
yeah, I mean,
Sammy Sosa
what
when that era
Right.
was
I
going
don't
on,
think the
if they
character
got in.
clause
So,
applies anymore. I mean, I think
yeah.
we know enough at this point to know that there's plenty of people enshrined in there that if we knew everything about them, we wouldn't want them to be in there on character alone.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's complicated, but to me, and I finally did get to visit the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. To me, it's just a monument to all the great baseball players, and um irrelevant is what they did off the field, almost like that doesn't matter there. And so I tend in my older age to be maybe more forgiving, or more um in favor of telling the whole story and not whitewashing it, and including the ugly parts too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ugly parts to the history of baseball, but there's a
Yep.
lot of, but
Game.
that's part of the story.
Story of the game.
So I
Yep.
guess that's where I lie on that.
Yeah.
I would
I
tend
have
to
no
agree for
clue. I
sure.
have no clue what's going to happen, or with if they. I'm trending towards no. Just from what he did, and there was more to Pete Rose than just the gambling. There were other incidents that certainly, um, showed his character and not the right way. So that would be my decision. But certainly there are people that are more qualified to, or at least in theory, more qualified to make that decision than myself. And we'll see which direction they go for it. But it certainly brings the discussion, because that's been a discussion for years and decades with the whole Pete Rose situation and
Yep.
others as well.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't know. But see, I would let the steroid users in too,
Yeah,
on the
it's
grounds
murky.
that
Really murky.
it was just part of the game at that time, in
Right.
the
Yeah.
same
I mean,
sense that greenies were part of the game in the 70s. And
yeah.
I mean, there's always been things people did to get an edge. It's just so hard to distinguish, to parse it all out, because we don't know who was using but didn't get caught. We know a lot of people were. Um, I don't know, man. It's very complicated. Everything's complicated, right? I'm sure they had other more, in the 50s, they were
Yeah.
probably like, well, we can't put him in. He's a booze hound or whatever, like, but now it's a different thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Baseball's evolved so much in the
I
last
think Pete
20.
Rose was a bad guy. I mean, I think that. I think he was a bad guy. I think he was a great baseball
Mm.
player. Maybe that's what his
Not a
plaque
great
says.
human.
Yeah, maybe that's what his plaque says. He was a
Yep.
great baseball player, but he was a real jerk. Nobody could stand him, and he did a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
And he gambled on baseball.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know.
But
He's not a
on a
hero.
brighter note, the annual tradition is upon us at Hilton
It
High School.
is.
because on Friday, the annual American football camp
I'll be there.
will get underway, and Marcus Walsh, as he said, will be there to take it in. And I got some news today from my good friend BJ Payne, who has done this for a number of years now. Always does a great job hosting this event. And he has told us who some of the staff that will be there, including, of course, Puna Ford, as you would expect, who continues to set such a great example. He is now an LA Ram, of course, moving from moving down
across
the road,
town.
across town, going to the Rams after spending some time with the Chargers. But others as well.
Changing the shade of blue.
Yes. Another NFLer will be there, Jakeem Grant, well known for, or a little well known for his time with the Bears. He got to the Pro Bowl, but punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver, multi-talented guy, two-time All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. And of course, there's some Notre Dame guys, including our own Jalen Sneed, and a bunch of other names from across the college football landscape, including Shaq Thompson, who plays at East Carolina. Gaston Moore, who is in the portal. He's still looking for his home. Yep. So he's a free agent at the time. But Troy Timko just finished up a career. He's head to Wofford. And
I have to get an interview with him.
Jaden Jones. Jaden Jones will be there from Morehouse.
Nice.
Jaden Jones.
That's why he asked me for Jaden's number. Okay. Yeah. Or for if Jaden was still at Morehouse. Yep. Now I know. Very good. That's awesome, man.
Good amount of well-known. Well, most of the well-known guys are guys that we know, multiple Lowco stars, and that's really cool to see alongside the guys that we normally see from schools like Notre Dame and Ohio State who come over and be a part of this thing. And it should be a good weekend.
Shaq Thompson coming home.
Yeah,
I love to see those guys come home, but then also the big names. Always a lot of Ohio State guys, Notre Dame guys, of course. We got the hook up there now. So very cool. $160 for that camp. You get a t-shirt, a poster, a water bottle, and of course camp instruction. And it goes May 16th. That's Friday, 5:30 to 8, and then Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to noon.
Thankfully they do it more because it is going to be hot this weekend.
Sure is, like 90s hot.
Get your
so
water
great
bottles
opportunity.
ready.
Never heard a bad thing from anybody who's gone to that camp. Everybody says it's like the most amazing experience, and it looks like the most fun. I want to go. And
to that camp. That includes, my sentiments rather, because I've covered that event a ton since 2014.
Kind of bummed Rodrigo Blankenship won't be back though. He's always
I actually had a chance to talk to him last year. That was cool.
Yeah, he's in the UFL, I believe.
That's again how I met Kevin, and that first year in 2014, I got to interview Braxton Miller, and that was the start of so much surrounding me in that camp, and I love getting out there just about every year that I can. And
Marcus Walsh, you'll be able to come out and maybe be able to get some guys for you to talk with again this year.
Definitely going to. I tell you right now, based off what you just said, Wes, I'll find Troy. I'll get Troy out for sure. Because I'm always looking to talk to different guys, and get their opinions on things and just see how they're doing at the next level. And Troy's definitely one. What a player. What an absolute player and a great kid. So definitely looking forward to that for sure. And Sarah Beachkovsky Moore, along with Coach BJ Payne, they both do a phenomenal job.
All right, well, here's my last parting thought before we get out of here. We told you last night Bryson Nimmer's golf clubs were stolen 1 week after his first Corn Ferry Tour win, taken out of his locked truck in Belfair, which is crazy. But Mizuno and the folks got him hooked up with some new clubs, and he's got a panel on there that says "Do not steal, please."
Love it.
You gotta love it. So Bryson's back in the game, and he's got a big event starting Thursday. So had the week off after the win, and now trying to keep it rolling, trying to get that card. So, all right, boys. Anything else for the good of the order?
That's all I got. I'm looking forward to getting to the Sea Pines for the final afternoon delight of the year, 4 o'clock. First pitch, Hilton Head Prep, Orangeburg Prep, and then all the way at Ben Lippen, Hilton Head Christian Academy Eagles getting it going. So I'm excited for these Ski State Championship Series to finally start.
Amen. All right, boys. Well, thanks so much to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs Mickelson Law Firm. Thanks to everybody who showed up to listen or watch tonight. And thanks to you guys. Best wingman in the business. Max took the night off, but I was in good hands with Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr. For those fellas, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco!